Good evening, it's September 8th, and welcome back to Cape Media News, your source for hyperlocal news that matters. As always, I'm Lauren Williamson. COVID-19 numbers are rising yet again. The new Omicron subvariant, EG5, is not considered to be more dangerous or cause more severe illness than previous variants, with most cases resulting in mild upper respiratory tract symptoms, such as a runny nose and a sore throat. Risk is higher for those 65 or older or with weak immune systems. The surge in COVID-19 cases, including hospitalizations and deaths, can be attributed to a combination of factors, including waning immunity, changing social behavior, new subvariants, and vaccine efficacy. The recovery time from EG5 variant, as with other COVID-19 variants, varies from person to person, and booster shots targeting the EG5 variant are expected to be available in the fall. These boosters are designed to enhance immunity against specific variants and are being developed by vaccine manufacturers like Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax. In the meantime, it's important for individuals to continue practicing preventative measures, such as wearing masks, practicing good hygiene, such as hand washing, and staying away from others if you're feeling symptomatic. The 15th annual Mighty Mehan 5K run and walk for pediatric cancer research is set for Sunday, September 10th at 10 a.m. at West Dennis Beach. The event honors the memory of Turlo, the son of Dennis fire captain Mehan, who tragically lost his battle with infant cancer at just 6 months old. Organizers have announced that this will be the final year of the race, and they're encouraging a strong turnout to make it a memorable one. You can pre-register and pick up your number at the Dennis Fire Department on September 9th from 9 a.m. to noon. Registration fees range from $5 to $30 based on age groups, and all are welcome to participate. After the race, head over to Chapin's Fish and Chips in Dennisport for a post-race awards ceremony featuring live entertainment and auction items with a suggested donation of $25. For more information, please visit www.mightymehan.com. The Steamship Authority recently faced an additional $16.8 million in cost overruns converting offshore supply vessels into ferries. Peter Jeffrey, the town of Falmouth's representative on the Steamship Authority governing board, said when the board authorized purchasing these 3 vessels, they were unaware of how inaccurate the initial conversion estimates were, and was quoted, "Had I known the actual cost, I don't necessarily know if I would have approved the purchase of these 3 vessels." A report conducted in April 2022 found that 4 of the authority's boats were functionally obsolete and beyond their useful life, with maintenance costs outweighing their value. The original estimate for converting these 3 newly acquired vessels into ferries was $24 million in total. However, the actual cost turned out to be about $13.6 million per vessel, which was $5.6 million more per vessel than the initial estimate. Board members and representatives blamed the management of the Steamship Authority for the miscalculation, with responsibility also falling on the naval consultancy firm, Kurloff and Associates, which provided the flawed estimates. Market forces beyond the SSA's control, such as rising costs of steel and paint and labor estimates, were also attributed to the inaccurate estimates. Quote, "The lowest bidder, which is the Alabama shipyard, was almost close to double of what they had estimated and told the board," said Jeffrey regarding a labor contract. In the end, the board voted to award the MV Aquina and MV Barnstable conversion contract to the Alabama Shipyard, LLC, for $13.6 million per vessel, or $27.2 million in total. Next weekend, September 16th and 17th, the Harwich Community Center will host the annual Harwich Cranberry Arts and Music Festival. The festival is free parking and admission and will be open from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. on both days. There will be over 175 vendors selling handmade crafts items and 9 food trucks. The Cran Jam Music Festival will also be taking place from noon till dark on Saturday the 16th. There will be an array of musicians taking stage, such as the Katie Flynn Band and the Placeholders. On Sunday, music will be played by the Chuck McDermott Band and the James Montgomery Blues Band. Following Cran Jam on Saturday night, there will also be a fireworks display. For more information, you can go to Harwich Cranberry Arts and Music Festival.org. A new group is helping Harwich residents struggling to find counseling services for children and teens or those who are stuck on a wait list. The While You're Waiting Coping Skills group can help. Ashley Symington, a licensed mental health counselor and national certified counselor, will guide participants through this program. The group sessions will commence every Monday in September, providing a consistent and supportive environment. For additional information or to register your child or teen, please contact Ashley at 774-994-3323. The 22nd edition of the Seaside Le Mans, an annual fundraising event at Mashpee Commons, is set to take place this weekend, September 9th. Over the past 22 years, this event has raised nearly $9 million to support Cape Cod nonprofit organizations that make a positive impact on the local community. This year, 5 organizations will benefit from the event proceeds, including the Alzheimer's Family Support Center, Cape Cod Healthcare, Cape Cod Tech Foundation, Pennakees Island School, and Sharing Kindness. The event, created and sponsored by the Davenport Companies in South Yarmouth, involves Formula One-style kart racing teams competing in an endurance race. The event is open to spectators and offers family-friendly activities, food, music, and entertainment. For more information and event details, please visit www.seasidelemans.org or their Facebook page. The town of Chatham is preparing for its upcoming special town meeting on Monday, September 18th. The meeting will be held at 6 p.m. in the Monomoy Regional Middle School Gymnasium. The warrant has been posted on the town website at chatham-ma.gov. Remember to register to vote prior to the meeting if you haven't already, as there will be electronic voting taking place again like at the prior annual town meeting. The special town meeting will cover a variety of topics such as budget adjustments, transfers, and zoning bylaw amendments to properties. There will also be a community forum on Tuesday the 12th at 5:30 p.m., focusing on discussion for the vote for the Center for Active Living, which will be one of the articles to vote at the special town meeting once again, as it narrowly failed by 1 vote in May. Coming up after the break, Kituit oysters and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to KPD News. I'm Lauren Williamson. The Treasure Chest, a community initiative in Harwich run by the Department of Public Works and operated by dedicated volunteers, finds itself at the center of a dispute involving a customer's alleged disruptive behavior in the town's response. The Treasure Chest serves Harwich residents and taxpayers as a hub for donating or picking up used items that are in good condition. However, back in April, an unnamed customer allegedly caused a stir by throwing donated items, including a pickaxe and shovel, at the volunteer staff. The same individual reportedly returned the next day, continuing to throw items at the staff, leaving volunteers feeling harassed and threatened. Surprisingly, no police intervention occurred during the incident, and the volunteers sought a solution to address their concerns. Rather than banning the customer, a plan was devised by the Treasurer's Chest leadership, allowing the customer to visit only when the Treasure Chest Volunteer Committee's chair was present. The customer allegedly apologized for their behavior and agreed to this arrangement. Nevertheless, several committee members expressed dissatisfaction with the solution, prompting them to voice their concerns in August to their liaison, to the Board of Selectmen, Jeff Handler.
That everybody understands that I will not be using names, specific names, out of respect for all parties. Several committee members voiced their continued concern that this customer could not be trusted to behave, and that having Ellie provided special supervision to one customer who couldn't stay within the lanes, was not a good resolution to eliminating the threat of harassment felt by multiple committee members and volunteers. At that point, I suggested that the committee formalize this by making a motion that would then create a recommendation to the select board. And there was a motion to remove this patron from allowing him to access the treasure chest. There was a motion made. There was a second, there was discussion, and the vote was made, and the vote carried, essentially, that there would then be a recommendation made to the select board, by way of me, the liaison, to petition the select board to discuss the vote to remove, which I believe, if I'm correct, was a 6-to-1 vote. Don't hold me to that, but it was an overwhelming majority. And I think there was only one person who voted no.
Following Handler's recommendation, the committee formally motioned to ban the customer from the treasure chest. The motion passed with an overwhelming majority that was subsequently brought to the Harwich Select Board for a final decision. In a surprising turn of events, the Select Board members concluded that this matter should have been handled by the Harwich Police, since the initial incident was not within their purview.
I don't believe it belongs here. Clearly, this is a police department issue. It's an alleged event, and I don't recall in my 9 years, I believe, removing anybody from anything besides a committee, but no member of the public ever. And Jeff pointed out this was specific to the treasure chest rules. There aren't any. You can't take stuff from the treasure chest and sell it. That's pretty much the extent of the rules. There is nothing about behavior in there whatsoever, which leads me back to where I was a year and a half ago. We're asking volunteers to basically run a business and police it. And in the DPW regulations, it does outline that the disposal area supervisor is to be contacted if there's any trouble, which it sounds like happened. So I guess my question would be, why at that point, if the disposal area supervisor got in the middle of it, why the police weren't called if a pickaxe was thrown? And then how we're going to move forward on new rules and a charge. And the only other incident that we've had this year, thankfully, is somebody didn't want to put their sticker on the back of their car, which I believe was met with a letter from the town administrator.
Right.
Not that I have a problem removing people, we just don't do it. We only do it from our committees. So I don't know why we would start that tonight. And again, I can only use the word alleged because the person that's involved hasn't been questioned by anyone on any official level in the town, nor was anything reported by the disposal area supervisor. So, nor does the agenda item give anyone any inkling of what we're about to do or consider doing, which is, as the clerk talked earlier about, an open meeting law violation that we'd be setting ourselves up for. So I don't believe we should take any action whatsoever. I know Jeff, through an email, is working on a charge. I might suggest that he work on some new rules. But we should take up the structure and what we're asking volunteers and a part-time committee to do and not be taking an action tonight. Because of the severity of this, I would ask that the town administrator, or even Jeff, as the liaison, contact the police chief tomorrow, maybe with Ellie, and give some dates and some names so that they can follow up on it. But other than doing just that, I don't see why we would do anything else.
I think I agree with Michael. I agree with Joe, and I think when you're working on your charge, you know, we should think about the fact that those people shouldn't go through that, the volunteers, and that really it's sort of a one and done. If somebody's throwing things at staff, you know, it should be that happens once and that person's removed, because we can't do it tonight, especially based on the agenda item and to Michael's point that we don't normally do that, and it is a police issue, but I definitely think that that should not be tolerated more than once, and that person should be removed.
This decision highlights some of the dysfunction within the town of Harwich as the community members grapple with how to address disruptive behavior in a shared community space. The Cotuit Oyster Company is currently at the center of a controversy as property owners in Oyster Harbor's Osterville voiced complaints regarding the company's aquaculture and equipment in Cotuit Bay and the Narrows. However, defenders of the company are rallying to emphasize the importance of oyster farming in the local community and its benefits for the environment. Property owners' complaints filed in August 2023 primarily revolve around safety concerns, the alleged misuse of public resources, and the public trust doctrine related to waterfront rights. Despite the concerns raised, supporters of the Cotuit Oyster Company argue that these complaints lack substantial evidence. One key argument made by defenders is that the aquaculture equipment placed by the Cotuit Oyster Company does not pose navigational challenges in the area. The equipment is strategically positioned between private piers that extend into the Narrows, ensuring it does not obstruct watercraft transit. Safety concerns raised by the property owners are also disputed. Supporters contend that there is no record of accidents or injuries caused by aquaculture grants in the region. Moreover, they emphasize the vital role oysters play in reducing nitrogen levels in the bay and the environmental benefits they provide.
Homeowners on the coast have these very valuable properties. And the reason they have that value is because of the vista they have. And we don't want to destroy vistas. We don't want to pave over an entire embayment with oyster bags. Our goal is to put in enough oysters to remediate the water quality, and so that you have good water in front of those homes, which increases property values. If you have nasty water in front of those homes, those property values plummet very quickly.
When you're working with a new community, putting in a new farm or you're doing anything else, you really need to have a person who's dedicated to helping educate the neighborhood and the neighbor. And one of the hallmarks of our farms are they look neat, they look professional. There's something that we hope that our neighbors are proud to look out and say, hey, this is an oyster farm.
As the controversy unfolds, supporters urge the town to dismiss the complaints and consider the long-standing contributions of the Cotuit Oyster Company to the community. This perspective is championed by David Cherbuck, who authored a more in-depth article on the issue found at cherbuck.com, and others who contend that aquaculture is vital for the region's environmental health and should be promoted. This dispute highlights the ongoing tensions between property values and the preservation of local industries. It remains to be seen how the town will respond to the competing interests at play. But Cherbuck and supporters are steadfast in their defense of the Cotuit Oyster Company and its role in the community. Coming up after the break, protests in Yarmouth. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cape Media News. I'm Lauren Williamson. Last weekend, concerned citizens lined Route 28 outside the Yarmouth Resort to protest the possible housing of migrants. Cape Media News was there on scene to hear what protesters had to say. Take a look.
We're here today in front of this hotel because there were American citizen people living here paying $300 a week. And Maura Healy's office called and asked if the illegals, over 100 illegal families, could stay here. He said yes, but only if he could get $700 a week. Therefore, he put a note under all of the American citizens' room, their door in their room, a note, and told them they all had to get out. They were forced out, illegals were let in. This is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is a human rights issue. It's being violated here. This establishment here has many, many housing violations, which are now being addressed. Maura Healey has put supposedly everything on hold, but we are being told that there's still the illegals that are in here. I will never call them migrants. They are illegal. They broke the laws of our country.
So that's why I'm kind of back at the basics. It doesn't matter how wealthy we are. China's wealthy. Why aren't we protesting against China? Russia's wealthy. Why aren't we protesting against them? Why aren't Haitians going to China? Why aren't Haitians going to Russia? Going to Cuba? Why? Because they won't let you in.
This isn't just a right issue, this isn't a left issue, this is an issue for all of us. We are all members of this community, and we can't afford this burden. This is ridiculous. We have homeless people here, we have an opioid crisis. The location that they want to put this in is right 2 doors down from a daycare. It's right next to the Yarmouth house. It's one of the flagship restaurants here in Yarmouth. It's across the street from residential neighborhoods. We don't know who these people are. We don't know where they came from. They haven't been vetted. We don't know if they have criminal backgrounds. We don't know if they have medical issues. I just can't believe that we have to bear the tax burden of this. So.
Shelter everyone! Shelter everyone! The unhoused deserve help!
Humanitarian crisis from the day these people leave their houses. This is the end of the line for a long, terrible journey for these poor people. This is not going to help them. This is not going to increase their life. This is not any life that anybody wants to live by being in this resort in a hotel room when you can't work. It's absolutely an issue for these people here today, for the locals. But what happened with Kamala Harris going and getting to the root causes of this problem? And now it's here on our doorstep. That's why we're upset.
There are over 33% of vacant housing on Cape right now. Over 33%. That is more than the number of renters on Cape right now. Please, actually show compassion to the unhoused.
The people on the other side of the street are actively supporting policies and politicians that don't help locals or veterans or migrants. They don't help anybody. We are not here to say we don't care about our locals. We care about our locals just as much as we care about migrants that need help now. These things are not mutually exclusive. Everyone deserves housing.
Are you getting paid today since you work at the housing authority? Stop hiding behind your mask. We can't hear you. Our veterans and elderly mothers.
With housing prices and so forth as high as they are, the last thing we need right now is to be giving our money and our housing situation to people who came here illegally, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to protest that.
Our son-in-law came from India, and he did it legally, and we're really, really proud of him. So we believe in legal immigration, not illegal. And the Cape's now becoming a dumping ground, and we just don't have the resources to support it. But allow them in when they're legal.
Americans first. We need senior housing. Housing for children that were born here and grew up here. They can't afford it. They're getting forced out of the low-income housing so illegals can come here. Our children have the right to live where they were born.
Veterans come first. Don't throw them on the street.
What about all of our veterans and local homeless people that were tossed out of this place so that the town could do this and put all these immigrants in here? Why should we pay for their way? No one's paying my way. And then you get people that think that we're the bad guy for wanting to protect our country. A country without borders isn't a country at all, and that's where we're heading.
You do what's right. And, sometimes what's right is going to put you in the minority. And in this case, obviously, these people came because, they say they care about veterans, but where were they with Liberty Lodge? They weren't there.
We have veterans and seniors living in this.
If you were living in a veterans now, where were you in Sandwich or Liberty Lodge?
I I wish they had the courage of their convictions to show up and protest the rich who are driving up property values. You know, I wish they had the conviction to show up when they try to kick out veterans. But it's only when it's immigrants that they decide to show up.
Housing for all, regardless of immigration status. Compassion over hate. Compassion over hate.
We the people are fed up. It's time to go to Ellis Island like our ancestors did, come in the country legally, then we'll be happy to invite you in. But get a job, support yourself. We are not here to do that. We worked hard our whole lives for this. Cape Cod is not full of rich people. Citizens, veterans, elderly, the young children that are growing up here that have to move off Cape because they can't afford housing. Come on, this is our country. We the people are fed up.
Just finish it real quick. Every Saturday, 10 o'clock in front of this building.
Every Saturday at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, until I drop dead.
Okay.
Until we're all gone.
Okay.
And maybe with my big mouth, I might be gone soon enough because I don't have all friends and there's enemies out there.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you have a story you'd like to see covered, send us an email at newstip@capemedia.org. Tune in next week for more hyperlocal news that matters on Channel 26, Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. And be sure to follow us on all our social medias, including Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. For Cape Media News, I'm Lauren Williamson.